Hello.
Hello.
Oh, happy Thursday, everybody. I know we missed you guys last week. Sorry about that. But
Yeah.
anyway, happy Thursday and happy June, which is also happy Pride Month, which will be our topic for this week. But first, let's do the round robin of how everyone's been lately. Ams, do you want to get started?
I'm about to bring it down. I'm so sorry. So I'll bring it
Okay.
down. I'll bring it back up. Yeah, I'm also trying to type in chat. Here you go. Hang on. There you go. There's only 3 of us. Excuse me. So yeah, my last 2 weeks have been a roller coaster to say the least. I just didn't, put this in chat yet. No one really knows. But this last Sunday, I had one of my friends pass away from cancer. So
sorry to hear
yeah,
that.
thank you. Then that was a really well. That week beforehand, we learned about her condition worsening, and then the day when it happened, it was just like sadness, depression, just all kinds of just up and down and everything, and also trying to keep a steady workflow. It's been, so I'm better now. So, but then with that in mind, if you don't mind showing the art I sent you, Grims.
Do you want to do the first one?
Yeah. I'm trying to channel that feeling into art. So I made this, and I think it might live in my sketchbook for a while. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Whoever's watching, just trying to illustrate feeling more sadness, depression, along those lines. And then the next one is about the same. Oh God, I should share my screen too. There's a third one. Yeah, there's that one too. And I think I found my style. Basically, I think I did. And I think that's what I want to go with. I think then at that point, because now I have all this cutesy stuff on my shop, but now I'm just throwing this in here, going whoop, okay. So I don't know. I don't want to alienate my client base, but I also want to go hey, I kind of want to branch out into this.
Broaden your horizons. Broaden your customer, outreach.
Right, exactly.
I mean, true people who do support small businesses follow through with other things. They appreciate the other art. They'll make comments on it. They'll say things whether they like it or not, or whatnot from it. They may not buy it, or they might just at least support the art itself, knowing whatever kind of meaning, or maybe they might know someone who would be kind of interested in it. I do find that a lot with a lot of the small businesses. They'll say, hey, my art's not the same. This is something new. I want to try. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I don't think it's anything that's people are not responsive to. So I wouldn't necessarily say to stop, because whatever skills or perspective you get from a different art can always be brought back to your original base, if you want to call it that, and kind of improve that too. So you can kind of mix and match and work from there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll show your stream.
Yeah. I just put this on the shop, so that's why I didn't really have it in chat. I can't see you, so let me know if you're looking at it.
Yeah, we're looking at it. We have it.
It looks really good.
Thank you. Same thing. Trying to really visualize those feelings. Usually when I get sad, I'm kind of my brain, my I feel like my mind's in a fog. And I'm just sort of I have all this weight on me. So trying to illustrate that and turn that into something, some type of art. It actually is really cathartic too. It actually helped me process it, and who knew that being creative actually helps you mentally?
It's a great way to process grief.
Right. Yeah. So I'll stop sharing that. So, duh. So yeah, I made those this week. I know, I'm sorry if I sound disjointed. I'm not used to being at the forefront and talking. So I also got a bit crazy with creating. I made this blanket because my cousin is having a baby shower at the end of this month. She is pregnant with her 3rd kid. So my goodness, I know. So I made this cute little blanket. Little baby blanket
I think
there.
the last time I was all like, those blankets I love. I still have mine. They're like the best. Like, just as I said, as still just a memory of the photos that you have with it and things like that. So I feel like I would hope that would be something that I would keep with them, because it's something gets made and it's personal, and one of your first possessions as a child, which most people don't keep because baby clothes get ruined and thrown out and all that.
Yeah, I just hope that his brothers don't get jealous, because I didn't make any blankets for them. So
it's like, no babies.
Yeah, you aren't a baby anymore. Only him. There you go. Key baby. And then I also made this, which is like this sort of market bag.
Nice.
I crocheted it.
Okay.
There you go. If you can tell, it's kind of like a flower design.
Yeah.
And it's like this sort of like basket weave pattern. So, neat. I love it. Can't see the colors too well. So yeah, I went kind of crazy. I'm like, it's just so weird when like different things happen in your life like that. Because I go kind of like work crazy and manic, and then also like just like these ups and downs, and just it's turmoil. So it's just my life's been crazy. So yeah. How about you, Lady Love? How are you?
I can kind of breathe because I'm going into summer break for a little bit.
Right. I'm so happy.
Today was technically my last day. Tomorrow is the last day for my county, but Jason and I are heading down the road to our niece's graduation. She's graduating high school, which is a really big deal for her because she's got a lot of like special needs and other issues. So for her, graduating high school is a big deal. This is another step towards her living independently, because she actually just recently moved into independent housing. So she's got an apartment, but she's got like an aide and counselors who come in and check on her and help her. Part of the the whole living situation is she has to have like a job or go to school, and she's got to be able to show life skills, progression in life skills. So this is a really big step for her. So it's going to be exciting to go see that, to go see her do this big step in her life. I've got like 2 or so weeks, and then I start summer school because, of course, need the money. Need the money.
Hustle.
Yeah. Got to make that money. I mean, other than that, just getting through life. Rain poured here earlier.
That was today. Yeah.
Yeah, a huge storm came through earlier today.
Oh my God, yeah. I was taking a shower when the thunder was going on. I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm sad I was sad I was missing it. I'm like, oh, why is it lightning?
It's for me it started rolling through as I was leaving work, and I'm like, all right, gotta get home. Luckily it's not real far for me. But I pull up to my house, and all of a sudden I hear this thunk, thunk on the top of my roof, and I'm like, fuck. So I'm like grabbing my stuff to run in the house before it just starts to pour down on me.
Oh my God.
Because you know how like when the raindrops are really big and heavy and they hit your car roof, and it's just that like thunk, and it's like, oh shit.
I almost thought you were describing hail, and then I was gonna be really worried.
Actually a few weeks ago, when we had the really bad storm come through, we had hail.
Ooh. Oh God.
And what else is really funny about that day was apparently we have a snapping turtle in our neighborhood, and she decided to lay eggs in our front garden.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got some babies?
Not yet. I mean, hopefully they hatch. I don't know what how long it takes for baby snapping turtles to hatch.
Just watch your toes.
I mean, she was a huge. I mean, not like huge, but I mean, she was a good sized turtle.
Don't walk barefoot in your own yard. So.
Well, what it is, it's we have our porch, and we have steps, and we have this a garden, and then we have further away another garden. It's a little garden and it's just got like mulch and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right up against the bricks of our porch, and she just laid her eggs there.
I guess
Oh,
that's
okay.
good. It felt as a safe spot for them.
Yeah. So that's pretty much been kind of my
Oh,
life in a
just-
nutshell.
popped in my head. She should be careful of Magnus.
Oh yeah. Well, when she was around, when the female Salmon turtle was around, we kept like cats and Magnus in the house and
okay.
Yeah.
until she left. I mean, because we have a creek not far from us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So as soon as she was done, she was gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's
Very
what they
cool.
do. They just kind of leave it, and then the babies kind of hatch and then go off
They
on their
have
own.
to. Yep.
Yeah.
And of
It's
course,
such a life to live.
I know.
Like, hatch, fend for yourself.
And then of course dealing with the cicadas here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
I swear we had a new batch just like come out of the ground within the last few days because it's just been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They attach to me whenever I go on my walks.
Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's always like that when I go out for a recess. It's like, nope, stay away. No, stay away.
Like I saw them like fly off of me. I didn't see them fly onto me, and I was just like, "Where did you come from?" Like one was like that flew between my legs. And I was just like, "How?
Mm-hmm.
When?"
Yeah. So that's fun dealing with that. So what about you, Grims?
Well, last Thursday I had gotten my second vaccine shot. So that was not a fun few days afterwards.
Oh,
Gort was
sorry.
completely fine. I, on the other hand, did not have fun. I had chills, hot flashes, horrible migraine, extreme skin sensitivity. That was not fun.
I hate that.
Yeah, that was there was a moment that I was laying down and Azu decided to come lay with me and I was bawling when she was like crawling on me because it felt so painful or whatnot.
Oh,
So that was not good time. So I do not imagine what having actual COVID would have been like if any of those symptoms were part of it. But luckily, of course, I'm over it. It's fine. Just doing the whole, keeping self, whatnot, the 2 weeks or whatnot. I'm probably going to do it for a little bit longer just to be safe. But they are releasing, should I say, lifting a lot of the mask wearing stuff. So it's all on the honor system state-wise to not have to wear your mask. But at work, we have to prove it just to make sure if we chose to do so. But I still am wanting to, just in case. Just that feeling was not good, so it makes me very careful and not want to have it, even though I know it's supposed to protect you. That was not fun. No way. No.
Even
fun.
though I've been fully protected, I still wear a mask, and it's actually it's funny because I was at Costco the other day, and because Virginia's the same, a lot of the band has lifted. It's kind of a you wear it if you want to. And I want to say about 90 to 95% of the people in Costco, they were all wearing their masks. I'm not counting the employees. The people actually shopping.
Wearing them.
We're wearing them. And of course, I still have to wear with my job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like surprisingly, I mean, I'm seeing it's a little less in some stores, or depending on where I'm at. But for the most part, I want to say it's still about 50, about maybe 60 to 80% of people are still wearing their masks.
I think certain towns for us, like certain towns, more people don't wear it versus other towns on it, and maybe where they're shopping too. But it's hit and miss. I would probably say there's a lot more not wearing it. That's definitely for sure.
Dude, it's so amazing though. Like, I don't think I want to stop wearing it because we've like eliminated certain flu strains because of the mask mandates. Like, that's still amazing. Like, really.
That was nice not getting sick last year.
I did though, which was the weirdest thing. I somehow got the flu in October, but not COVID, which is good. But like, how? So
I didn't get flu, but I got COVID.
Well, there you go.
I don't know how the hell I did that.
I didn't do either, so I just got a horrible shot reaction. So.
No reaction to the shots.
That's lucky. That's very lucky. I probably
So
Having it definitely probably made you a little more immune to it.
Well,
probably.
the thing is, though, both my parents also had COVID, and they both had horrible reactions to the vaccines too.
ooh, maybe you're part of that percentage of people that keep the antibodies after you get COVID. Like that small percentage of the human population.
I don't know. All I know is
It just was.
So good.
There's a lot of me I don't always understand.
My immune response was strong, so
It's probably strong just because of my job. I guarantee.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna be around a lot of
lot of germs.
Outside of that, not anything too crazy. This weekend is Melissa's birthday, and so Sunday we're going to a drag brunch show.
Nice.
So that should be fun. And I have my little outfit. This past week we also went to, well, before I had gone to shop, we went to some restaurant that was having an Alice in Wonderland themed dinner menu type thing. So that was fun, although it's a little expensive and not really worth whatever theme stuff, but the drinks were worth it. They had some really good drinks. They had, well, at least the one I had one that was like a Mad Hatter, and I can't really remember how to describe it. It was kind of like fruity, like an apple or a pear or something like that, and it had some purple with it, and then it had like a flower with it, and it had like some kind of smoothie almost type thing on top of it, and that was really good. There was also, Melissa had gotten the Red Queen's drink, which was just kind of like a white, like a, I think almost like a white wine, something on the top. No, it had red wine on top of it, so that it was going over the white drink that was mixed.
Almost kind of like a sangria in a way.
Yeah, kind of like a sense. So, but they just had the white at the top. I'm sorry, the red at the top, with that going over and mixing into the white because it contains the roses. So I thought that was clever. But the really clever one was the drink that was meant for the caterpillar, and this one was surprising. Like, it sounded interesting. I wish I had what was in it, but Melissa had tasted it, and she's all like, this is weird. It's smoky. I don't know why it's smoky. I don't understand it. And I drink it. I was like, it is smoky. And I was all like, it's the caterpillar's drink because he smokes the hookah thing. So it was like the most clever way to make that drink a smoky drink. It wasn't tasty, but it was cool to experience to be like, oh, it's the caterpillar's drink who's smoking and whatnot. So of course you have the smoky flavor that's coming in with it. So I thought that was like a cool experience that each of the drinks kind of fit with what each concept was. The rest was just like basic food and whatnot, like the tea treat, like a tea level of snacks and breads and deviled egg. It was like a pickled deviled egg, and I was like, I didn't like it. She liked it. I didn't like it. I was like,
yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was like purple. It was purple pickled, and then the other deviled egg stuff, and so it was kind of like weirdly rubbery. And like, I mean, imagining it, like eating it, it was like a weird. It felt like eating an eraser. It gave me kind of the texture it was. I was like, ew. But outside of that, that was at least fun.
Does sound fun.
Yep. But not anything else crazy at that. So we'll see how the drag show goes. Oh, and then we're gonna go see, after the drag show, we're gonna go to Harry Potter World in New York. So we're gonna go to that. So we are doing that as well. Although she will be going also the night before, because her birthday is actually on Saturday. We're doing the drag show on the Sunday because it's drag brunch. So she'll already have gone to New York and done it, and we're going to go again a second time. Because I had said, well, let's go for your birthday. But then she was like, well, I'm going to be going this time. And I was like, well, you got to go with me again.
See, it's easy for you to go because you're right outside of New York City.
Yeah.
So for you to go there, it's easy. For me, it's like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited about that. So that'll also be part of the experience. Of course, seeing a bunch of photos and whatnot, but at least it'll be kind of interesting to go there. So I'm excited for that too. So that's also like an extra treat for me. So her birthday is going to be fun for me because I love drag queens. And then Harry Potter, like, you just can't. It's like, is it your birthday or mine? That's what
I'll admit I'm a little jealous of going to the Harry Potter store in New York. Just a little.
Just a little. Well,
just a little.
The Butterbeer bar, so I want to do that. That's going to be probably the most fun. But yeah, I expect to spend more money than I probably intend to.
It's probably a good thing I'm not going for a while because I would probably spend all that much.
So that's part that's going to make me sad.
But it'll be worth it in the end. You'll walk away and be like, you know what? You'll justify Yeah,
most
the
definitely.
purchases. Because I guarantee you, they'll probably have pins there, and you're going to probably be like, pins,
Oh yeah,
pins,
that's
pins,
probably
pins.
where it's going to be. Most of it is going to go. I mean, there's going to be probably things here. There, I'm sure if they have a really good Weasley's Wizard Weasley's section, that's probably the other area that I'm going to be hands down with. Because I mean, I don't really need a wand or any of that. Although those are cool, it's not necessarily that's been like a huge draw to me. Like I want it because like I want to want it, but then I like realize I don't really want that wand. Like I would like to have a custom made wand that would be mine, which I follow a couple wand shops and stuff, so I could always just buy or commission or something if I really, really want to. And I think that would be more worth the money of having a custom made wand that would fit me in that sense. But yeah.
Yeah. Neat.
But anyway, so getting into this week's topic, as I mentioned before, it is Pride Month. So I wanted to talk about Pride itself. I'm not sure if you ladies are familiar with it, but any of our listeners / viewers are familiar with what Pride actually is, and then going over some of the flags that Pride have. So bear with me because I will be reading kind of like some stuff along for it. I'll try to talk with what I do know and then kind of read up on some stuff that I don't remember.
It'll be educational.
Yes, a little bit of educational. So if I do get some of it wrong, I do apologize. All the stuff is also available to see online. So if you really want to find out more, I'm just going to preface it. I'm trying my best because there's a lot that's out there. So do you ladies happen to know what Pride actually evolved from? Like your best knowledge or know of it?
From what I can guess, I think it started out in San Francisco or New York.
Mm-hmm.
New York, and it was around, I want to say the late 70s to early 80s, and it was to kind of almost bring awareness to the LGBTQ, well, at the time, the gay community, because that's when the AIDS epidemic was at its highest, and they wanted to showcase that that's not all that the community was.
Right.
So, some of it. That would be kind of more what it kind of evolved to. But essentially what Pride started at was something that's called the Stonewall Riots. So there was a club, Stonewall Inn, that was for gay people. Not that there was many at the time. It was a lot of underground stuff, but this was one that was kind of known. And they would, anything that was gay, and this was specifically happened in the late 60s, they would get police raided because, you know, people,
it was illegal
and all that stuff illegal, and so they would get raided and arrested and whatnot. So the riots came along because just one time, you know, they just got tired of that shit. And so if I remember correctly, I think it's Marsha P. Johnson and someone else, and their name escapes me right now, they had started the riot. Essentially trans people of color, they were the ones that kind of led the forefront in, because they were definitely ones that were targeted for a lot of the like abuse and, you know, targeted for killing and such. And so the riots were kind of to help start bringing more awareness to us, like, hey, like, you guys got to stop doing this shit to us. And so it's still a big thing that keeps going on, which is why Pride is there. That's where some of the people, even within the own LGBTQA plus community, debate it. Those who like Pride because Pride helps bring people in, helps support and whatnot, but of course it is very commercialized. So there are those that are, because it's so commercialized, that it loses what's its value. Kind of like with Christmas and Christians. Christmas being all commercialized, but Christians are like, you know, it's Jesus' birth and all that stuff.
No, it's not.
But regardless, it's kind of that lost of what it actually means, where the Pride is just being out there, being proud, showing what that they're there, and just making awareness of the struggles that they do happen to experience as well.
Yeah.
That other races and people don't get that too, but it's just their own start of it. And so the Pride Parade itself kind of happened after the initial riots. So that's why it's in June, because the initial riots had started in June. And then, of course, it just happens as an anniversary every year. Different countries and stuff celebrate it at other times for what they feel is an important month for them. I think Canada does it like in October or August. I can't remember which one of those 2 months. So they do it like in a different month than America, but America, June is the one, and a lot of people follow suit just because they don't really have a historical event or time that seems to fit them. But that's essentially kind of a quick overview of what Pride is and kind of where it started, at least in terms of the United States. Of course, there's various parades around the whole states because not everyone's going to go to New York, but New York is one of the biggest ones, at least in the States. So, of course, let me get over to here. Starts the flags themselves. So there's a bunch of flags that are out there, but the original flag that was kind of created was this rainbow flag in particular. It's not the one that everyone necessarily sees. I'm just going to try to pull up this information real quick. But it's one that kind of symbolizes, each color has a symbolic meaning to it.
Yeah.
So hot pink symbolizes sex, red is life, orange is healing, yellow is sunlight, green is nature, turquoise is magic and arts, indigo is serenity, and violet is the spirit of the people.
Oh,
So yeah.
I won't remember it. I want to, but I won't.
No, you really won't. And I don't even. That's why I'm going to be reading it or looking from it. But the rainbow flag being reason why, and it's also the title of our show, is taken from Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because the Wizard of Oz is something that the gay community does take in a lot. One of the slangs that they kind of used was with Dorothy in particular, like to identify other gay people, that they would somehow, I don't know how they bring it up, but they would always kind of like identify, are you good with Dorothy? Are you a friend of Dorothy? And that was a way of asking people, are you gay? Yes, and being a friend of Dorothy. And also, I'm sure you heard of the term Best Judy, which is Judy Garland. So your best Judy is your best friend. So that's where they get that, is from her, from Wizard of Oz as well. Immense comments.
Thank you.
I'll from there for what you guys think of all that. I just threw a ton of information at you guys.
It's so unique. I like that. So wait, hang on. So if I want to ask someone's gay, say, are you good with Dorothy?
Or like, are you friends with Dorothy? I don't know if that's the right slang to use in particular.
I'm just gonna walk up to my gay friend and go, "Hey,
that is if they understand it. That might be that's probably an old term.
Yeah,
use. A lot of the newer is probably gonna be like, what?
But it
doesn't bother anymore.
Pretty much now, if you're gay and you have it, you're either in the closet or you're out of the closet.
Yeah. Which way you swing?
Exactly. So the code didn't necessarily need to be so much as it is now, since there is more accepting, depending on if you have a not happy family life. That, of course, plays into it as well. But I think it definitely is more open than it was in the past. So is it interesting to remember, to kind of know some of the old slang and what they kind of would say to identify with each other?
I feel like when gay marriage started to become legal in the United States, like across the board, is when Pride really amped up. At least from my perspective, I just feel like that Pride was like really like shot out of the gates. Like really had more of a foothold after gay marriage was approved more in each U.S. state. But correct me if I'm wrong, but that was just my experience. I just started noticing it where I'm like, wow, okay, we're doing parades. Okay, cool. So
I would probably say for me personally, the parade itself was only more when I had moved out here to New Jersey and I had talked with people about Pride itself. I always had it as part of my life in a sense, but I didn't really celebrate Pride or know what Pride was. I still was kind of learning my involvement in the community and being, what some people, an alphabet person and what that means and such. But back in like college, that's when I had all my college friends, and most of them are of some gay nature. And that's when I was discovering my own sexual identity. And kind of they weren't really Pride style people, I would say. It's just they were anime nerds, and a lot of anime nerds a lot of gay people flock to that type of culture, and it's a whole different kind of concept that is more
accepted within the anime culture.
And so you're not needing to go out there and pride to go do all that type of stuff and whatnot from it. So it wasn't something that they necessarily talked to. So what's kind of funny is moving out here to New Jersey, meeting other people who are part of the community and being kind of more Pride and finding my own identity within it. And then going back to the people, I outgave them in a lot of that sense, which is kind of weird. Not that it really matters or whatnot from it, but it's kind of like I've immersed myself more in what would be seen as pop culture of gay fandoms and things of that nature, and just knowledge, while they still are not. They just are living their life as such, which tends to be what most people actually
Well,
do.
and that's because that was out in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of it too is just California's just like, okay.
Hippie.
I mean, think about it.
open.
Like, it was San Francisco that had the big gay boom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was
Casper
kind
District.
of, when the big boom happened, and it was just kind of like, okay. I mean, because the only reason I'm saying that is because my former hairstylist, he's gay. And he actually was out in San Francisco for a while back in the 60s. And that's when he saw, the big boom of people, starting to come out more.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved back and he was up in New York, and he's like, he saw kind of how San Francisco kind of was almost more evolved than the East Coast, but then the East Coast kind of exploded too.
Yeah. Because they were like always there, but they were more in hiding. Like gay culture, a lot of it was with also with transgender people, that they were kind of more like in ballroom scenes and underground scenes and meeting in nightclubs and all that type of stuff. So they were always there, like in the culture, but a lot of the times, because they were ostracized people, they also were into things like prostitution and drugs and all those things to kind of like live their life just to kind of make it by. It's an interesting documentary that they all talk about, that I didn't kind of watch because there's a lot of catchphrases and stuff like that, but it was still kind of interesting to watch, and it's escaping me. Oh, Paris is Burning. I think Netflix had it for a while. I don't know if it's still there, but it talks about ballroom culture that was in New York, and just how would I say, acting straight. It was a lot of what ballroom culture is, because they were a lot of them people of color, and then not being given the same advantages as people that are white. And so they would, business day wear. So they would have, outfits and wearing, and this is how they would be able to fit that norm, I guess, in a sense, because they weren't allowed to have executive jobs. And so they would come and dress up and do the best fashion thing and try to win a trophy of the best executive type look, or looking like a woman was one, like fish realness or whatever you will want to say.
Early drag?
Yeah, like kind of, like drag in that sense, is that it was more, that's what ballroom culture was, is that whatever theme was going on, it was what they couldn't have in real life. So they would dress up as that in this culture, and then, try to present the best. And of course they're being judged or whatnot because they couldn't do it. Otherwise it wouldn't be accepted. Yeah.
Learning so much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's kind of an interesting type thing. I mean, there is so much more to what ballroom culture was too, as just a building community and family. But yeah, San Francisco, I would probably say, from my experience being in California and just knowing of San Francisco, it just was always known as the Castro District, being, that's where all the gay people are, and being able to be out and proud and going and just not anything stopping you. So I'd probably say more the Bay Area as a whole kind of has that feel.
Neat.
I don't know, from when I look back on it.
I'm also writing some of these down because I actually do research them.
Paris is Burning is probably one of the most famous ones because it has a lot of quotes. So if you ever watch RuPaul's Drag Race, they say a lot of them in there. So it's the most common that people quote from it because it's goes.
What streaming service can I watch them on? Because I don't have cable.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think the one Paris is Burning, I think she said it was Netflix, and
okay.
I don't know about RuPaul's. It's probably Paramount.
Right now it's on VH1. There's also their own service, the Wows Presents Plus, for some of it. But yeah, Paramount is now doing All Stars. But VH1, I think, is the one that still has the current season. I've also seen it on Hulu as well. So there's a lot that you can watch, at least those shows. in particular. But in terms of, I know Hulu has some documentaries about geek culture, depending on which section from it. I've seen some on Amazon Prime. There's really just a lot out there to kind of keep up with any of it. A really big one, and I think I talked about it before. I cannot remember the name for me, but I know it's on Netflix and about trans people. That is another one that I would probably say that's really big. What's her name from Orange is the New Black is Laverne Cox. Is that it? Okay, yeah, Laverne Cox. I think that's her name. She's in it as well.
Oh, duh. Yeah, she's trans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I would probably say one of the ones that were definitely more forefront in more recent years. Not to say that they didn't exist in the past or were part of mainstream, but she's definitely one of the ones that kind of brought it more forefront because it was a popular thing. It was a story that she was portraying. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'll continue on. So just real quick, of course, this is one of the more current pride flags that most people see, which is just the basic 6 colors. They did it to kind of simplify it a little bit more, just because some of the colors were a little bit harder to replicate on a more mass production. And then just having 6 was just an easier, even number from it. So that's why difference from like this one, which has the turquoise and the pink, that they just kind of more simplified it, and that's one that you do see a lot when it comes to pride flags. Plus it's just your standard rainbow flag.
Yeah, it's a standard rainbow right there.
Yeah. And then there's this one, which is the Philadelphia pride flag that was done as a response for more I can't even speak.
Inclusivity.
Yeah, there you go, that one. For the community, which is more putting focus on people of color in the community itself. So of course
I like that actually.
Yeah, the brown and black, which helps bring that a little bit more in, just because there's even a divide within gay culture as well. Like there's a lot of judgment against each other because it's like no femme, no fatties, no Asians, no whatever. Like they'll pick all these things, and it's like, well, you guys always hate being judged, so why you discounting certain people just because they're of a certain ethnicity or they have a certain mannerism to it? So that's kind of where
white people.
Well, just in general. I mean, it was just all over. Some just don't, some like, I don't want a feminine guy because I want more of a masculine guy or something. And so it became kind of an issue internally from them. I know I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, and I do apologize if it's offensive or any of that type of stuff. It's not what my intention is, but it's something that I know that they just don't want to be. It's like, no, you're supposed to be inclusive. And that kind of brings it there, which leads to kind of the more current flag that they use, which kind of has, all of it. People of color, trans community being a huge focus now as well, being added into it. And of course, your generic pride colors with it as well. So it's just the overall options, I guess. for
I mean, I just know there's so many flags out
there. There's much. This is just the beginning, honestly.
So many flags now.
Which is why it could be kind of confusing because you're seeing a lot of different ones. So even within the community, some feel like they want one that kind of more represents themselves, which is where you start seeing a lot of these different flags. A lot of them are more recently created, I would probably say, probably in the last 20 years, some even as much as the past 10 years. So that's where it could be a little confusing because they haven't been around long. It kind of, unfortunately, brought a lot of divide with a lot of it. So I'm not quite sure where a lot of those come into play. But yeah, it's kind of going a little bit in order. Start with the L. So this is the flag for the lesbian community.
Wait, there's more colors? I thought there were only like 3.
There's various lesbian flags. There's another one that's a sapphic flag. I don't know if I brought a photo of it. No, I didn't. But which is also kind of a lesbian style flag. But I guess it's let's see. I guess it includes butch lesbians as well. So it's not just
different types of lesbians.
Different types of lesbians.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
your
lesbians. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so you go. I was just gonna say, there's the lipstick, the butch. I know there's others.
I guess like the white stripe kind of always is more kind of, or at least the transition is because also trans would be kind of considered with it in as well. So it's just all over like
They really
women.
thought about this, man. Wow. That's
Yeah.
just like,
That's why
I
it
feel
can
like
seem a
this is
lot.
like a dissertation. Like,
Yeah.
you're like really like, okay, it's this. This is exactly, you know.
Well,
Wow.
if you really wanted to get into it, each stripe technically represents another one. There's like gender nonconforming,
Goodness.
said lesbian, lipstick, butch, all that type of stuff. Same thing with this one, which would be the gay flag, gay men, I should say, pride flag. So
Okay.
greens, blues, and purples kind of being more their color, kind of similar to like the lesbian version. It's just more array of accepting different gay men, specifically gay men, into it. So each one kind of representing a different portion of the
Hilariously
culture.
enough, I know more about gay men than I do lesbians. Don't ask why. Like there's like otters and bears and twinks and I don't know if twink's derogative. I'm sorry if I offended someone, but I don't know if that's still derogative or not. I've heard it and you
I
joked
think
about
it's one
it.
of those that it's within the community. If you're in it, it's also how you're saying it. I would probably say for some of it, but of course, I think femme is probably more on what they
probably.
usually use and from it. Of course, femme is also a term that not so much because of transgender people as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I think it's just as it gets evolved, terminology also kind of changes with it too. Once again, I don't know everything. I only know what I know and what I can research. So of course we're always learning and evolving from that. So whatever I say now could be changing in a week or two. So that's always something to kind of keep in mind. Kind of continue on. Next one would be probably the other common one that people know, bisexual.
Hey, there you go.
So this one, I myself even have a hard time kind of distinguishing this one also from the pansexual, which is the next flag. So it's a flag that represents pink and blue blending to make purple. That way that bisexual people can blend into straight community and the gay community. So it's kind of blending, I guess, sexualities. It also represents attraction to different genders, and pink symbolizes attraction to the same gender, while blue represents attraction to a different gender, and purple represents attraction to two or more genders. Thus,
oh my god, I get it. Because, pink girl, blue boy, and then, wow.
But they're saying that pink is same gender attraction, blue is opposite gender or different, I should say opposite, different gender attraction, and then purple being the mix or multiple.
Oh. I feel like I'm back in school. I seriously. I love it though. I'm just like,
all over it.
Trust me. After you've done a few trainings on all of this,
yeah,
because I've had to do some trainings on this because it's been a huge topic within the school system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously we didn't go over all the flags, but just all the different
sexualities
and the difference between sexuality and gender fluency.
I never thought about that because of like sex ed and like teaching that for the future.
No, this is just
aware of it.
It's awareness for the teachers and the use of proper pronouns.
Mm-hmm. Just because it's as the kids find their gender identity or realizing that this is something else or they're coming to terms with it, it can just be confusing because it's not. I mean, that's why you get a lot of kids bullying and stuff and being able to handle the bullying and being able to properly address the children to not be offensive and such. So it is something to learn because it's not something that we normally had to identify. With your kids, you were your gender. You kind of followed the gender, and then when you were 18, you could then experiment. And then if you wanted to present differently, then you were able to then present differently at that point. And then if you found your community and your found family and such, that then they would follow suit with it. And it's kind of like you weren't really doing it until you were an adult, but now it's because this is becoming more forefront, is starting to come with children as well. And so, of course, now that parents are more accepting, and then that's allowing them to have that. So it's kind of relearning. I would probably say, I don't know, Bethany, if you would agree.
I mean, yeah, and I think just also too, it's part of like the equality in schools and the acceptance that, you know, it's no longer just black and white, it's that gray. I mean, it's all kind of got mushed together, and it can get really confusing. I mean, I'll be honest, you know. And I think some of it too is how to bring that topic up to not be like coming off as being either naive or offensive, but you know, and it's also being respectful. You have a student that would prefer going by he, his, other than, or she, her, or them, they, knowing that, and you know, accepting, you know, not accepting, but honoring their wishes. Because you don't want to be the teacher that says, no, because you are a female, you are she, her, when that individual may want to be he, his, or they, them. That then puts that student in a position of then, you know, of doubting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
if
you
also
don't
they don't
want-
feel the support from the teacher, then kids would follow suit with it as well. And so it's like you have to be the leader of the pack, I would probably say.
Or I'd say when it comes to questions, like being naive isn't bad as long as you're not judgmental about it. So,
but it's also just learning how to bring that conversation up, like how to do it, like how to make the child feel comfortable with coming to you and saying, hey, I'd rather go by this name in school, I'd rather go by these pronouns in school, and respecting that.
Exactly.
Because you may not believe in that, but when you're a teacher and you're in school and you're doing your job, your beliefs are, you check them at the door when you come in the mornings.
It's a job. It's not about you. It's about your students. It's about at least what I think, in my opinion at least, that it should be about your students. It should be about the people you're teaching, not what your stance is. So
you check yourself out at the door when you swipe your badge to come into the building.
Church and state.
Oh, see, I don't even believe in the church.
But you know the saying though.
Yeah,
like,
no, I know.
Church and state.
Yeah.
But no, I get it. Don't worry.
What about the Church of Jesus?
Oh, like gay Jesus?
The gay Jesus.
I'm more the church of the
spaghetti monster.
Yeah, the flying spaghetti monster. Yes, definitely.
I need to do that. I need
his
to
noodly
buy.
appendage.
Oh my god! If you guys are coming to TFCon, I need to buy strainers so we can wear them as hats. I need to. Just go to the dollar store.
Just go around. Honor his noodly appendage.
Exactly.
Boiled for your sins. Do not forget that.
That's a church I can get behind. But
Yeah.
Should I just throw like cooked wet spaghetti onto you as well?
No, because that's starchy. No, because it is starchy and it will smell. No,
that's true.
Rice noodles. Because, in case people have gluten sensitivity.
Anne's working in a noodle restaurant. That's that starchy smell.
Doesn't bother me.
No, I don't want to walk around smelling like old starchy noodles.
They'll just give you a box of uncooked noodles. How about that? Here's your offer.
I'll take, if anything, I will take, what's it called? The,
like a million. I'm sorry. You have to specify.
the crafts. They're the. Oh, fuck. God damn it, brain.
Should I just start like saying names like bow tie, cavatappi, elbow?
No. It's the craft. They're the fuzzy craft. they've got
pipe
like
cleaners.
pipe cleaners. Thank you.
Yay!
I'll take pipe cleaners and I'll stick those into the colander and have them look like noodles.
Oh my god, that'd be fun though. Yes, and you do pom poms as meatballs. I'm sorry, we're sidebarring here.
That's
I'm
fine.
on a tangent.
It's totally fine. Go ahead. Hey, I'm down for it.
Oh my god, but thank you. Oh my, I think I'll do that. I'll take pipe cleaners and red pom poms and just yes.
Oh, we just
So
got
excited.
Anne's down to really.
I'm the crafty bitch, man. Like you just like warning. We'll make whatever. Yes.
Warning, we'll break into random crafts.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Mhm.
That's definitely a well. There's your next T-shirt idea.
Yes.
Crafty bitch. There you go.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah, that's a bit. With the
I'm
warning
that
label.
one.
I like the warning label one. That's a good
The
idea.
warning?
Warning, we'll
Warning.
break into random crafts.
Yeah, that
At
one's good.
any
That one's good.
moment.
Any moment.
It's like quantum mechanics. Just like at any time, it could happen or won't or will all the time. Anyway, let's
Get back on.
Back to it.
back to flags.
That's fine. So the next flag is going to be similar, which is where, as I said, some of the confusion. So even I am still learning some of this. So the next flag is pansexual flag, which is kind of similar to what bisexual is, but essentially the difference to that would be it's representing people who feel attracted to a person without thinking about gender. Which means that they can feel attraction to both people, for people who devise women, men, both, or neither. The pink on the flag, this one is more like, as you said earlier, Ams. Pink on the flag represents attraction to women. Blue represents attraction to men. Yellow stands for attraction to those who don't identify as either gender. Now, that's something that I had learned more this past year, I believe, is that yellow is a common color for non-binary people that like, because it is seen as a gender neutral color, so that tends to be the one that people float
I like
to.
that.
They like the yellow. That seems to be a common representation of people who are non-binary.
Yeah. I like it. There's enough distinction between the pan and bi flag. The bi flag at least looks like you're mixing. That's what it kind of feels like sometimes. Like you're just like you know, in a like more fluid with it. And pan is just like all across. So,
But it's more of the definition of between being bi and pan.
Yeah, it kind of knowing what that difference is. It kind of, the breakdown I would probably say more is being attracted to the gender versus being attracted to the person, which with most people you would think it's not one or the other, but it kind of has that distinction from it. It's this is where I, like, within my own stuff, I identify as bisexual. So to me, I more with it because, you know, it is the first description that fit it. But when I kind of think about it, like when I like a woman, I like what makes her a woman. I like the things that are like a woman. And then the same thing with a guy. When I like a guy, I like what makes a guy, and all those type of things from it. Not to say I wouldn't be any transgendered or non-binary or any of that type of stuff. That would be part of it as well. But definitely gender does kind of add into my attraction, I would say. So to say pansexual, although I do like the flag as well, I wouldn't necessarily say that would be my first draw into it because of how I know my attraction comes into play. That does play a part of it. It's not the most important part, but it does play a part. And so that's why I would probably say I kind of go more towards the bisexual flag personally. From it. That's the closest that I could kind of think of why one from the other, because I did look into both and kind of seen, and the more I could research, that's kind of just seems still the one that I identify more. Plus I like purple. It's my favorite color. So I kind of, that had a little bit of thing, but I would probably say more the description. Like, for example, like Lady Gaga. Oh, she's a beautiful woman. I think she's amazing. I think she's just a lovely looking woman. But of course I would say, like, on the opposite end, Tom Holland is a nice looking guy too. And I like how he looks like as a guy and whatnot from it. I don't know these people. The personalities could be shit in real life, which I don't think they are. But, you know, that is playing part into what I like about both of them. And so, of course, that's why I could probably say I identify as the one more than the other. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find out, me personally, what I am. Because, I probably should have been more formal about this, but I think I am bi. I
Mhm.
think so. But when it comes to attraction, it's more so on a personality level, not a sexual attraction. So, like, if I meet someone that I really like, get into and whatnot, then the sexual part could come afterwards. So, I don't know
You
how else
probably
to
then would be
describe that.
more than on the pan side of things, where
Maybe?
it is the
I don't
person
know.
and the overall what it is from it. I mean, as I said, I can't define it for you. Only you can define it for yourself.
Yeah. I
But
need to do
that
more
would be something.
introspection.
Yeah, kind of
Mm.
identifying one versus the other.
I know I'm
It-
not straight. So there you go. I know that as much. Even though I'm married, I am very happily married. Don't worry.
mhm.
But I know I'm not like completely on one side. I'm like more so like somewhere in the middle, but I just don't know exactly what. So, so anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Pansexual flag
Yes.
afterwards.
Whatever one.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the next one, of course, is probably one of the other bigger ones recently that has been something of focus. Of course, is the transgender flag. Maybe because trans rights are a huge focus nowadays with bathroom laws and all the trans killings that have been going around, especially trans people of color.
Yeah.
That it is just a big focus. Of course, we have someone of trans in our own community as well. So it is something that kind of is there as people have find out their gender identity. So I'd probably say this is our first flag where it's not necessarily sexuality, but is of the gender identity side of things. So that's where I
Yeah.
think that's why also flags get confused, because there is sexuality and then there's identity, and that's kind of been the mix from it. So you may actually have two flags that feel like they represent you, which is why I think lesbian and the gay flag also play into it, because they're kind of being inclusive with some of this
Yeah.
gender identity stuff and not just sexuality. So with the trans flag, it's was created, of course, by a transgender woman. Pink and blue represent girls and boys, and white is for those in transition or those who don't feel like they identify with any gender. So,
Oh, there you go. I like
mhm,
that. I like the colors too. They're very soft, very
mhm.
pastel-y. Usually not a fan of pastels. Yeah, I like it.
I'm more the vibrant color person. I don't know.
Mm.
Pastels were never really my thing.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha.
Next, kind of similar in nature would be the non-binary flag.
Oh, okay.
So non-binary being, opposite of having the gender. So of course, yellow, white, purple, black. Each color symbolizes a different subgroup of people who identify as non-binary. Yellow is okay. So yellow is people who identify outside of cis-binary of male or female. White is a color that consists of all colors mixed together. It stands for multi-gendered people. Purple is similar to lavender for gender fluid people, and it
Mm.
represents who identify the blending of male and female. And then black is the absence of color, which signifies those who are agender or who do not feel they have a gender or feel of a gender.
Like truly androgynous at that point, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So
those people
neither.
impress me honestly. I think I follow some on TikTok. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, you're an attractive person, but like you look like both for some reason. I'm like, what? How did you do that? That's so amazing.
Mhm.
Oh, and also like I learned it just like pops up on my feed, but there are these people who are born like this person looks female, but they were born with XY chromosomes,
Mhm.
but like don't have a uterus, but they do have a vagina. Um they produce more estrogen than testosterone, and they're truly like agender, and I'm just like, this is like super fascinating to me. Like I'm just like, you are truly like a medical marvel. Like like wow. But they look like, they look female. But of course their pronouns was, I think it was like she, they, something like that.
They, them, probably.
Well, I went to their page, and in their little bio they put their preferred pronouns there. Usually people do that now. Thank you. By the way, whoever's listening and watching, thank you. Because that helps so much. Like, I'm sorry. Usually I default to they them when it comes to like either trans people or like agender people or gender fluid. I'm just like, I don't know what you are until you tell me. So until
The
you
best
do,
thing to
I'm just
do
gonna
is
call you they. So
ask them. Honestly,
mm,
for a lot of them, if you just ask, they'd rather you ask than guess.
Mm-hmm.
or it'd be like that instance. Actually, yeah, you're completely right. Because that would be a lot more respectful too. But it'd be more so in the instance because like I have the memory of a goldfish, and I'm like trying to talk about them to another person, I forget. So then I just like default to the safe option. Like, okay, I don't know, I'm sorry. So yeah, this is just super interesting, and agender people out there, hello. How are you? Gender fluid, whatever, doesn't matter. Hi.
Various. It could be various.
Various, yeah.
You get a lot of the. I would probably say that I've noticed with the drag community, a lot of it because it is a lot of people who are male or identify as non-gender binary because they present female as well when they're in drag. That seems to be the most common is a non-gender or non-binary because they play on both sides of the spectrum. They don't feel quite male,
Mhm.
don't quite female. So it's just kind of the in-between, although they do have technically parts of one versus the other, but they're just kind of, they feel inside because of the way that they view themselves as kind of a mix. And so that's where sometimes it is harder, where the they, them is just the easier, safest option. I say for the most part, I try to use that the most overall, unless I know they're presenting strongly one for the other. But yeah, that tends to be the easiest assumption unless they do identify themselves as such.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the next one is kind of like a mix between the two, just non-binary trans flag. So I guess people who I identified both as non-binary and trans had used both flags or used neither, and now they have their own kind of mixed together since they could be a combo of such, just being trans or feeling like they're in between. So kind of bring them together. I think right now still trans rights kind of brings out just the trans flag itself, but they are kind of merging because they have similar nature to each other. Okay, yeah, that's that one. Next one that I think a lot of people don't really see or have seen around or just not familiar with is this one. This is the intersex flag.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't remember. All right. Well, how do you define intersex?
Let's see. I was trying to read what it says here. Where's the remote? Also, wait for. I guess the circle. Let me just explain. So I guess the circle is perfect and unbroken. It represents wholeness of intersex people. It is a reminder of intersex people that are perfect in the way they are or they choose to be. Oops, wrong one. Let me try to look up what intersex in particular. I think it's like a mix.
That kind of sounds like so
what you were kind of describing before. So it's a general term used for a variety of situations in which the person is born with reproductive or sexual autonomy that doesn't fit the box of male or female.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So yeah, then. So I'm still learning this. So sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So that's an intersex person. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because like at first it sounded more so like just like a different word for gender fluid.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one will be more back to gender being mixed, someone who is actually is of both genders, or as he said, the people who are like XXY style chromosomes would be the intersex, and it's their flag. Because I remember there was someone who was on Loveline when I was a kid growing up, I guess like high school age. And I would listen, and there was one of the callers who I would guess would be defined as intersex now, that had both male, female, actually did have a uterus and a penis, and that would have a period, but they presented and identified as male, but they still had to go to a gynecologist because they had a uterus, they had a period, and they would talk about what that was like as an experience, living life and presenting as male, but then having female things happen that they weren't too kind of dealing with or going with, and of course the struggles of dealing with that as well. So I guess that's kind of more for it.
Wouldn't that also be hermaphrodite?
I think that would be the, I'm assuming it's the same term, but intersex being the preferred one now, because of course, a lot of these old terms have negative connotations with it.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, I want to know if that's an outdated term. And
it seems as much from what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay.
Sorry, I said there's just so much to keep on track from it.
Yeah, I know. I'm ignorant to some of these sides, so I'm loving learning about this with you guys. So definitely want to learn more.
Essentially it's the same, but you shouldn't be using hermaphrodite anymore. That intersex is now the appropriate term now. So because it is considered a slur. I just read that right now. Sorry.
Sorry.
As I said, that is not, so you don't want to use it anymore.
Okay.
I literally just read it right now. Whoops.
Thank you.
I had a feeling intersex was that was just the preferred term because of what it was, how it's been treated in the past.
This is why I asked though, so that I don't
use it anymore.
Make an ass of myself. So yeah.
Continue on unless anyone else has anything else to add input onto that one.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
This flag is for asexual. So going back to sexual orientation, asexual being someone, it may mean that they rely on other types of attraction instead of or in place of sexual attraction. So black stands for asexuality, gray represents demisexuality, which is sexual attraction after an emotional bond. White stands for allies of the community, and purple represents the entire community of asexual folks.
Ooh. There you go. I actually do have I think like at least 2 asexual friends. And they're incredibly wonderful people. I love them. So
I think my older cousin is asexual because he's never been in a relationship, but he's had. He's never been in like a sexual relationship, but he's been with people that he's had and attractive to outside of sex.
Yeah. I've learned that with because asexual people can still be romantic. Because there's I learned from my friends that there is asexual and there's also aromantic. Because you can be both, or you can be just asexual or just aromantic. So it's really interesting to learn to know.
Which is that one? That one's flag. Being aromantic.
Aromantic?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there you go. I'm sorry. I'm going ahead.
Which is fine, but I mean that's good format where it's part of the needing to have the bond, being able to build it, which also demisexual is part of that as well. That would be demisexual.
Oh, that's a cool one. Oh, I like that one.
Which is looks like it's a subset of the asexual, but where the emotional bond is more. I have actually college friends. They were married. They are married, not were. They are married. One had come out as transgender female, and her wife, who was born and presents female, she just has come out as demisexual instead because she's, with her wife now and is attracted to them as a person and is involved in that sense. And so sometimes it just is that. I have a lot of college friends that also, when kind of defining it or figuring it out, they couldn't understand why they were attracted to some or couldn't be attracted to others. Some that just couldn't jump into, like when you get told, well, why don't you just go out and date someone and just go out and try to find someone? Why are you so unhappy with it? And it's like, no, you need that extra connection, which I think everyone kind of does. But sometimes, some people want sex a lot earlier in the relationship, and that just doesn't work for everyone. And so kind of realizing that that's not what drives you having sex in that sense, and you need that extra, and that's just, I guess, a form of expression down the line and building that bond. That's where I think demisexual definitely comes into play, or asexuals as well.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of coming to term with it.
So yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm trying to look up the next one real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, my best friend, she's I think demisexual but panromantic. I have to double check with her on that. But yeah, she's definitely demisexual, and she's actually engaged to a guy, and they're super happy together. So, but yeah, it was just like because when I first met her in college, she was also still trying to figure out what she was. So she was like asexual first, and then found out she was demisexual. And then I think it's just also like I think for people it's also like a journey because like people can change over time. So it's just like finding out new things about yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, I consider her a niece. She says she's pansexual lesbian.
Ooh, okay. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. Or maybe I shouldn't. I just take it at face value and just move on because it doesn't matter to me. It's not my life; it's theirs.
Yeah.
So.
It's go ahead.
I think she always knew from a young age, and obviously, like, I could tell from a young age that she was more of the lesbian side because just her mannerisms and the way she was, and she came out when she was 17 or 18. She finally came out, and she was like, "I'm a lesbian," and I was like, "Okay, I know." And she was like, "What do you mean, you know?" And I'm like, "Hon, I knew." I was like, I listened to you talking. I knew you were a lesbian. I was waiting for you to figure that out.
Aww. That's super nice. I like that.
It wasn't my place to be like, are you a lesbian?
Yeah, just like randomly, like, you need to tell me now. Like, I think I know what you are, but.
And a lot of it, she was like, I didn't know how you guys would accept it. I was like, you think I really, like, your preference doesn't affect how I feel about you.
Yeah.
That's nice. It's good. It's good to have.
Like, I don't care if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're, asexual, demisexual, whatever it is, you're still you. What you do in the bedroom with someone does not affect how I feel.
Or with when people are like, so the trans rights are still somehow like very a point of contention. There's some people asking like, if you like why are you so concerned about what I have in my pants? Why?
I really don't care.
Like, why do you, no.
I'm like, if you come into the bathroom and you're gonna do your business, just do your business. I really don't care.
Just wash your hands and
that's it. Just wash your
Okay.
hands when you're done.
Like, I think I told you guys of the story where I was in the mall and I was in the line, and then some or whatnot, and some guy had just walked straight into the women's bathroom, not realizing he walked into the women's bathroom, just walked right into a stall, door open, pissed, and then walked out and was like, I'm in there. And he was all like, he was confused. He was like, I'm in the woman's bathroom? He was like, whoops, and then he left. Like, he just needed to take a piss, and he just decided to walk in and just went. Like, he didn't even close the stall. I was all like, dang, bro.
It was on our way to TF Con Chicago, and we stopped off at a Denny's for breakfast. And I must have not been paying any attention because I walked right into the men's room, not even realizing. Sit down, I'm doing my business. And all of a sudden, someone walks in, and I'm thinking, I can't remember. I thought maybe it was Anna, and I almost said something. And then I looked at the shoes, and I went, those are men's shoes. I went, fuck.
No, I've done that.
I was like, luckily the door was closed, so I literally waited till he left, jumped out, washed my hands real fast, and got right out. I was like,
yeah. Gort gets on me all the time. He always tells me, go in the men's one. Just go in the men's one. It's a shorter line because he doesn't want to wait around or stay around or whatnot. I said, just go in the men's. No one cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't want to get right in.
That's one thing. Like, I never understood of the
segregation.
The segregation of just a one stall bathroom. Why do you have to have a bathroom for a woman and it's got a toilet and a sink, and then a men's with a toilet and a sink.
Yeah, that
Just
one.
make
they
it
should just do things.
just make it a gender neutral bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because at my job, we have single bathrooms, male, female. Well,
Mhm.
everyone, we use whatever one is open.
Yeah, because it's not like there's a shared stall or anything.
No, it's a toilet and a sink, a toilet and a sink, toilet and a sink. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, if someone's in one, I go into the other.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like, I just don't understand. And like, we'll be out in public, and I'm like, I had to pee. There'll be someone in the women's, but the men's is open. I'm going into the men's.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I've done that
I
before.
don't. I'm like, I gotta piss. I'm just gonna go into a bathroom.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking of that. Do you guys have you ever seen that video of the guy who washed his hands? I think we've talked about it. Washed his hands in the urinal at like a concert, like a German concert, or something like that, where he thought it was a bathroom. And then it's because it was at a concert, so they have like those urinal troughs outside to make it so that the guys can just go up and take a piss. But he walked out of an actual porta potty and then came over and grabbed the thing and then washed his hands in it. And as someone like a newscaster was like, what are you doing? He's all like, this is not a sink. And then he walks away with piss covered hands.
He has all the diseases down. Oh, that's disgusting. I've only seen those troughs like once. And I didn't even like go into the bathroom. I just glanced in and I just saw a trough and like, oh.
I mean, as a woman, I guess we don't deal with that so much because we have to actually pull pants down completely to go to the bathroom or whatnot.
We don't have a hose.
The hose makes it a little easier for guys to just go up and go and then be done with it. So that's the only thing that would be kind of just interesting if everything was just with neutral. It's just the urinals themselves. I think if we just got rid of urinals as a whole, maybe that would all be fine. Because outside of that, I don't care. Like, you're just gonna take a crap next to me. That's fine.
Or
care about
them.
urinals. I don't even care about urinals. I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't care.
because at least with urinals, they keep it, centralized, and it's not all over the place.
True. We don't want to have it pissing all over the toilet.
We don't. Yeah, at least urinals keep it centralized.
Put it on the back wall. Like, just you don't have to see the man's dick. Just put it on the back wall.
I don't even care about. It's whatever.
Great.
I mean, it's whatever. I'm going in there. I'm going to do my business. I'm going to go wash my hands. I'm going to leave. I'm not going into the damn bathroom to hook up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That is not my intentions. I am perfectly happy.
Is gonna be just that everything is just gonna be that general thing.
And I mean, and you're starting to see it with some college dorms where you have, the shared bathrooms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you just learn. I mean, it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You go in there, you do what you need to do, you leave.
Because you're just pooping. That's really it.
You're pooping, you're taking a
Pooping.
piss, you're showering, you're brushing your teeth.
What else are we doing in there? It's a restroom, man. Anyway.
I'll just finish up with the last one. I mean, there's more than this. These are just the ones that I had picked out that seem at least kind of different or a different thing. This last one I'm sharing today is abrosexual. It refers to individuals whose sexuality is changing or fluid. So this kind of sounds like your friend Ams. For example,
Ooh.
someone could be gay one day and then be asexual the next and then polysexual next. While it's possible and even common for the person's sexual identity to shift and change in some way throughout their life, an abrosexual person's sexuality may change more frequently over the course of hours, days, months, or years. Because of their inconsistent attraction, some abrosexual people may not feel compelled to seek out a relationship or may prefer a waiver-ship. I don't know what that means. I guess kind of in and out of relationships. The timing and fluctuations differ for every person. For some, the fluctuations may be erratic. For others, it may be regular. Sexualities that a person fluctuates between also varies. Some abrosexual people may be fluid between all sexualities, while others may only be fluid between a few. So, romantic equivalent of abrosexual is abroromantic. Sorry, 2 O's in there. Or abromantic. Abrosexuality is sometimes considered part of asexual spectrum, And resexual is under the umbrella of abrosexual, but changes more frequently.
How do you spell that?
Abrosexual,
Yeah.
ABROX. Oh, I just asked. Oh my god, I raised this. ABROSEXUAL. Abrosexual.
That's new. I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's one I've never heard of.
Wow.
From it. So that's, as I said, I didn't have much, but this one has kind of seemed like it was the more in between because it's just, I guess, how would I say?
It's like the in between of the in between.
It's almost like what queer, I guess, would be. I mean, queer is an overall term that's used for everyone, but queer also is kind of used for the person who just doesn't know. And it's just like, I'm queer. I just know I'm queer. I don't know what I am, but I just know I'm queer. I feel like this is just part of what I am and this part of what it is. And I feel like that's what it is. And I think abrosexual kind of just gives it more of a name, I guess, what queer is. Unless I'm totally wrong and queer is just a whole nother thing on top of it. But I almost feel it's kind of like this. Like the person is just kind of figuring themselves out. It's like, this is your flag if you're still kind of figuring out who you are, or that just is you, that you just are always kind of going in between this, that, and the other. But this one looks like it's mostly just orientation and not gender related.
Whoa. I'm sorry, I'm like processing.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right. But I think that's where some of it plays into. Some are gender related, some are orientation related. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion kind of gets into play because everyone thinks that they're all the same and they're all different because they're all with different things. Even the one with intersex, it's not even sexually related. It just is a identity.
Yeah. Oh my god. I need to do a tally. I think I need to do my own research actually.
It's a lot. It's kind of like your basis to find what it is what's the closest that it is, research it a little bit more, kind of see if that fits your identity. And if it's not you think that's what it is and you find out something is actually a better fit for you, doesn't matter. You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to any of it. You get people who come out as gay or lesbian and then later on they are transgendered and now they are straight because now they like what would be the opposite gender since now they are transgendered. And so that plays into it. So nothing is necessarily the same because both things are different from each other so they can affect the other one. I guess, if that makes sense.
It's all on your preference.
I think we have time for like one or two more. You want to?
I don't have any others that
You
kind of
don't?
came to mind. I as I said, I there's like so many of them. These were just the ones that I felt that kind of brought out a lot of, I guess, what I would see as kind of common things or ones that I've heard or had people talk about. I can maybe share. Oh, Jesus, I had this new setup, so like my microphone doesn't fit anymore. There's this one that's called Sapphic. I'll see if I could try to pull it up real quick. That's kind of similar to like the lesbian flag in concept. It's just kind of like woman on woman love is what it is, which I mean, it sounds that it would be similar.
It sounds more of like woman empowerment.
Yeah, they say it was kind of more how would I say it? Being on the side of women is the way they had described it. I'm going to try to see if I can find how they specifically described it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Takes a minute.
It's okay.
Sapphic. Here we go. So, here, let me share the screen. Share. Come tab. Okay, is that pulling up? Because I have to see the other screen.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
So Sapphic had this kind of the rainbow behind. I was hoping that it would say what it is. I think maybe it's back here. There we go. Centering Sapphic experience, using Sapphic flag or label to focus on women and femmes, and they're attracted to each other. So pan-Sapphic, acknowledging attraction to all genders, but also emphasis on femme or femme adjacent gender alignment and similar gender attraction. Yeah. That's just more photos of that.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, go ahead.
Like they have up here because they kind of because Sapphic has a lot of flags to it, and they were trying to make it just more like similar to the all the other flags. So there's different styles of Saphics. They had the codes on there. I was hoping to find something that kind of described it a little bit more. But yeah, that one I'm still trying to figure out the difference between it in a sense, but I hope that kind of explains a little. I don't know. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're good. I'm trying to remember though. Oh God, TikTok again. You tell where I go all the time. There's this other orientation that was like it was like based on like a planet, like either not Neptunian. I think it was based on the planet Uranus. It was like one of those like different, unique orientations. Like trying to remember because they were like doing like the colors of the flag, and it was like very like these shades of like greens and blues. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to remember. I don't even know how I could search for it.
Like an orientation?
I think so. Yeah, it falls in that same line. But I think it was like
planet?
Yeah, it was like based on a planet, either Uranus or Neptune. It was either one of those. They had like that same sort of like color palette. And I forgot exactly what it was. I wish I could have saved the video.
I think
so I
that's is that Neptune that has those. I can't remember. It's been so long.
I'm gonna do research, so I'll find out and I'll let you guys know.
I think Grimm's is.
I'm trying to find it, but I can't. I can't find anything on it.
There's like a far off memory.
Everything's coming up with satellites, so I don't think that's where we need to go.
Oh, whatever. I'll figure it out, and I'll let you guys know.
Yes.
And I'll like just like ping in my head, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, here you go." So.
And there's lots more. As I was kind of going with it, as I said, I kind of narrowed down some of them out of it in a sense because there's more. There's like ace, which I almost feel is kind of almost like part of the non-gender. There's just so many. There it really is, and it really just comes down to what you feel identified with, and really just research. That's all it is. And I said everything that I said is not word. It's the best that I can come up with in that time frame and what I know at this point, and it always changes. So
I found it. I just said I could. It's Neptunic.
Neptunic.
I found it.
I mean, Bethany was right with the sounds
the
like
colors. Yeah, I was like, what planet? I was like thinking back. I was like, was it fourth grade science that I did like 3 years ago? I was like, which planet has those colors?
That almost seems so close to gay men flag.
Yeah.
Because of similar colors. But essentially it's oh my God, I don't even know how to say it. Nomosexual?
Nomosexual?
Yeah, there we go. Attraction to women,
sexual?
feminine non-binary people, and neutral non-binary people. It can be described as attraction to all people except men, or man-aligned or masculine-aligned non-binary people.
Oh my God, and there's Uranic and Saturnic. Oh my goodness, they're just basing it on the planets now. Whoa!
Well, I mean, in the history, a lot of the Romans were seen as a lot of sexual stuff. So, only with the time
was
Zeus brought back in.
Would you describe him as Pan or something? Like, oh my God, he just screwed everyone. Like, really?
Or rapist would probably be the proper term to use for him.
Yeah.
A few other terms we could throw in there.
I'm gonna say that.
we could throw a few other terms in with some of the Greek and Roman gods.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that reminds me because we recently saw the first episode of Loki.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was tonight.
I just watched it yesterday. I just watched it today.
Awesome! Oh my God,
I haven't seen it yet.
I won't. Don't worry. We're not gonna spoil it. Don't worry.
We just rewatched the first two seasons of Mandalorian.
Okay.
Oh, here you go. That's super good. But no, like Loki as a god, just like going based off of Norse mythology because he's a man. However, there was that story where he became a female horse and did it with a male horse, and gave birth to Sleipnir. So. So like wait, how did
I think a lot of the gods are very fluid when it comes to their sexuality. Very fluid.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, then again, there's the stories of some of the gods. They just pop out of the chest of another god or out of Zeus's head.
Oh, I love Norse mythology. Like the gods were created from a cow licking ice blocks. I love it so much. Like licking it's a cow licking salty ice blocks, and it's like, oh look, there's a thing there, there's a being. I mean, how ridiculous does that sound? I love it so much. It's so funny. Mm. But anyway, yeah.
Anywho, we'll wrap up unless anyone else has anything else to add first.
No.
Nope, I think it's
Hooray me! So yeah, all the stuff I've shown you guys, that's like a sampling of what I do. I'm a freelance. Hello, I can do the same thing. Freelance illustrator / graphic designer. I also crochet and knit. Follow me on all the social medias. Support me on Patreon. Email me if you want, or message me if you want commissions done. I also have a shop. Please and thank you. Thank you for the support. That's it. I'm good.
Nerds Have Spoken podcast. They record and upload anew every Thursday morning, so check them out. They actually went live this past Sunday for Ian's birthday,
Okay.
which was fun. And I think Jason's going to try to get the Saturday night meetup starting again.
Hooray!
He's got a lot of stuff he needs to build, so he's like, maybe I need to start doing the Saturday nights again, because he's got a pile of things that he needs to start putting together.
Some motivation to get back into that.
Yeah.
Yes. Be very good.
There's also Shelf Gravy, which you can watch every other Wednesday. This past Wednesday was a show, so that means not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday will be there. So definitely give them a check out and watch them. You can also listen to our awesome music by Dust Mites. So check out his music on all music platforms. You can also follow us on social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube as well. And outside of that, everyone have a wonderful evening and see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.